I'm Anthony Lowe, the GM Europe Advanced Design Director. It started off as an architectural study, looking at how can we build this car, the dimension and the proportion that we want. Look for a concept which is fitting to the Saab brand and in the new segment of crossover. It's not only about the design itself, but also to understand a little bit our customers. What kind of activities or lifestyle do they have, or do they need to do on the weekend, and so on. So we have identified many different possibilities, but one very strong need actually, and it's a type of sports that many of our customers do, is actually skiing. And some of them even doing very extreme skiing. We use transparent material that creates a lot of feeling of depth on the interior, and also some part of it, like the surrounding the instrument cluster, is also a transparent ring, but it's illuminated from behind. So it gives you a very special effect. One year we would say we would use 6 months in doing a lot of research and scale models and various studies. But sometimes if we are very clear with that vision, which is in this case, we maybe just only spend first 2 months on developing, say, some models, and then the rest of the year is more in the execution. And that, I think, is really the best way to have a kind of a clear vision in the beginning, and then you spend more time in executing the details and make sure everything is in the highest quality.
I'm Andrew Dyson. I'm the chief designer. I mean, we have to look at the market also. You know, we don't just design cars. We have to think about certain segments, and this is a very interesting and very important segment for Saab, especially in the United States, but worldwide, to have a slightly larger car, a car that is a true four-wheel drive vehicle. It looks slightly like a four-wheel drive vehicle, but not necessarily a sports utility. It's a crossover. So it's really a car that's at home on the road, as well as in snow conditions or slippery, wintry conditions that you often get in Scandinavia. Well, there's a heritage, you know, with Saab interiors. A lot of it is about the driver orientation. And what we've got here, let me just go around here. This is where the driver is, and you've got the clear zone area. And it's very much this driver orientation that we've had in Saabs in the past. We've got very, very organic shapes, but they're controlled shapes. So they're not just completely organic everywhere. There's a very clear shape. Now, with Enak and with Kai, they've influenced us a lot with their skiing activities. They've explained how they quickly decide to go skiing. They use navigation systems. They often find out where the best skiing activity is. They have to load up their gear really quickly. And a key area that we found important for them was just to get their skis quickly in the car. So what we developed was a load floor in the back of the vehicle which slides out, similar to what has been done in the past with Saab, that slides out, and there's an integrated ski rack which can be popped up, and you can put 3 pairs of skis in there. Actually, under the sliding floor there's a sort of a secret compartment where we can put boots and other gear that the skier uses, and that's also got a heating element connected to the car system. So when you're driving along, the interior heating comes on, and then you can dry out all your gear that you've just used, and we create obviously better drag coefficient with the car by not having the roof rack on the car, so big advantages by keeping them inside.
GM Europe, Karl Peter Forster.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Saab 94X biopower concept. Thank you. Saab is a brand on the move. Known for its independent thinking, this innovative concept is proof of where that thinking can lead. The 94X biopower concept is, as you can see, very much inspired by the fascinating Aero X we showed a little less than 2 years ago. And by doing so, we knew we would set the bar high for any Saab vehicle to follow. It's natural that the Scandinavian values were at the very heart of this development. Our deep and honest connection to the environment inspires us to develop sporty cars that are powered with respect for nature and designed for real-life safety. At Saab, we call that responsible performance. The Saab 94X biopower concept is the brand's first crossover vehicle and signals the start of our product expansion. At the same time, it serves as a reaffirmation of Saab's leadership position as we, in 2007, outpaced other manufacturers as the #1 selling brand of E85 cars in Europe. The secret lies in bringing Saab's 30-year experience in turbo technology to the E85 equation. The result is a right-sized 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. Running it on E85 biopower increases the gasoline-only horsepower from 245 to an amazing 300 horsepower with 295 foot-pounds of low-end torque. Of course, this Saab 94X concept boasts the cross-wheel drive system introduced last year in the new Saab 93. There's obviously a lot more to talk about, but let me wrap up by saying that this innovative crossover is for active people with an independent mindset who are passionate about driving, who embrace nature as well as adventure, and need a vehicle that can safely take them anywhere they want. It's for people who want to express their individuality in a sophisticated way in any market of the world.
Welcome to the Detroit Auto Show 2008, an auto show that is, of course, full with a lot of new cars and trucks. But it's also a show where a lot of the directions are set for the vehicle industry in the future, in particular as it relates to environmental issues. The 94X biopower concept, which is a crossover vehicle that is the first step in terms of expanding our product portfolio. The progressive design from an exterior point of view with a lot of connections to the Aero X concept car we showed a couple of years ago. Also interior-wise, the typical cockpit feel with a lot of information that give you a very sporty feel. But also, of course, a Saab biopower engine that can run on E85, fulfilling our requirements of responsible performance. So a very complete Saab from a brand point of view.
Well, the exterior design is a very sporty, dynamic crossover. It's got unusually low roof, and it's the front end and the rear end, and the overall feeling of this car is very much inspired by our Aero X concept car that we presented in the Geneva Motor Show in 2006. And from the side view, from the front view, it gives you a very distinctive Saab identity. And on the rear, we have also the signature tail lamps, which has a light band that runs the full width of the rear end. This gives you a very strong signature in the nighttime and also during daytime. The front end, we have a lot of very interesting features. I think with the headlights
the grille, and the three-hole grille is very much an evolution of what we have developed on the Aero X. We have the ice block inspired detail on the headlamp, which is taken to another new level. This interior has followed the tradition of Saab products, that we have a very driver-oriented cockpit style instrument panel. All the buttons, controls are in the right places, and we also utilize special material like the clear zone panel that was very much inspired by the Aero X concept car.
Biopower is Saab's name for the range of cars that we have that are flex fuel that run on E85 bioethanol. Biopower is the best-selling flex fuel brand in Europe, actually. So it's a winning combination for the customers. Driving on bioethanol allows us to get away from fossil fuels, which is important for the environment. Also, in the biopower formula, you get additional horsepower when you drive on E85 as opposed to driving on gasoline. We at Saab, we call it cross-wheel drive, and that is also in this concept car, but we've introduced it recently in the Saab 9-3. What it does is, it's a very advanced system developed in Sweden, and what it does is that it can sense where you need the extra torque. So front to back, but also side to side, it can sense where you need that power and give you that extra power when you need it most. So what it translates into is better road holding, better traction, better control in difficult conditions, such as ice or snow, which is often what we have in Sweden.
When I grew up skiing, I learned skiing very early, and I understood that this sport, this is my thing. So today, I'm performing in ski movies, ski photography, and I'm also doing big mountain extreme competitions. And I'm living my dream. It's wonderful. These mountains are not located by the interstates or highways. So you get out on really small roads, and this car has the new cross-wheel drive system, which is really nice. So, and it also has the engine, the new biopower engine, which is really good. For me as a skier, I live out in the nature and I see what's happening, what is changing. And with an environmentally friendly engine, it's a super cool car. Salomon has this partnership with Saab, and I'm part of the crew developing skis, boots and clothes and all the gear I use, because I'm out there every day. And Saab was about to develop a new car. So they came to Salomon and sat down with me and the whole Salomon team and talking about what is the specific needs for an athlete with our activities that we do for when you're driving a car. Here's a sliding floor with a ski rack on. So in the morning you just put your skis on this rack, and under the sliding floor you have a boot compartment. This boot compartment is ventilated, so the boots will be heated and warm when you put your feet in them when you come to the hill. When you do a lot of activities and you're out there, you get a lot of dirt on your gear, and when you put them on, the dirt is going to come with it on the floor and everything. So the solution we did here was a rubberized material on the floor, which is really easy to wash off. And it's inspired by the plastic in our ski boots. So it's a pretty cool connection. I mean, this car is a dream car for a skier. It got what it takes. It will take me to the hill with my gear, and I can do what I want.
So I'm Andrew Dice, I'm the Chief Designer from General Motors Europe. We've got an advanced studio there where we design both Saab and Opel products. And what we've done here, we've developed the design for the Saab 9-4X concept. A new introduction crossover, very important for the US market. It's a very small design team that we've got, and I've led that team to develop this particular concept.
Excellent. Can you tell us about your own little passions before we start getting into all the details about the 94X and Saab's future design process? I understand that you also own a Saab. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that. I think enthusiasts would be very interested in that.
It's very important for Saab, being a small company, to develop their future product. And I'm a big Saab fan myself. You know, I've got an old 900 Turbo. It was one of the first aero models, and it's a black one, and it's the the iconic colour for that car. I'm very passionate since I've been working for Saab and on Saab concept cars to be inspired by Saab from the past, and a lot of that influence has gone into this car today with some of the main DNA that we've got through Saab.
Excellent. Can you tell us a little bit, beginning with some of the details from the front with the grille and how that's evolving? The actual non-continuous hood line, as well as the brow effect, which is now below the lights, unlike the Turbo X alongside the 94X, and then we'll kind of move on from there.
So we've been developing at Saab the face, and as you can see, we've got the typical element with the front grille and the vanes next to the headlamps. But what we've done on this model is, because it's a crossover vehicle, we've given more vertical height. So we've actually taken the grille up into the hood to create its own central element. This is just a development for this particular Saab 94X concept. Very important for us is to be unique in the details. It's all about the love of details and execution. And what we've done here, we've developed a new material which is really inspired by ice block material. And what that does is we've got a translucent material in the headlights that you can see here. And so rather than using a lot of chrome or black in the headlight, we're using the transparent material. Very much a Saab Q, very much a thing that you're going to see on future Saabs.
Excellent. Can you tell us a little bit about how these looks like fog lights and kind of intakes kind of work here?
So we're using LED technology on this vehicle. Here's an example of how we can use LED technology to gain package size. Very small, very compact, very much an understatement. So really a typical Saab element, high quality, high performance, very individualistic, and yet really subdued. So integrated in this whole grille, which actually is going to be an extractor for the brakes. On the 94X concept, we've developed a new wheel for this particular car. It's inspired by Aero X concept, where we had the turbo vanes. What we've done here is we've developed a thicker version that's actually thick in its depth and its width to support the vehicle. Very important for a sports utility or a crossover vehicle is to develop a wheel which has enough strength to carry the body.
Okay.
So the side view of the car, very important, the profile, quite distinctive. I think you'll agree that from every angle, this is a typical Saab. We've got a wraparound windshield appearance that comes from the front through the body side. We've got a tapered roofline profile, which really is reminiscent of Saabs right back to the 60s, where you've got the sort of teardrop appearance. So quite a low roofline coming back here, very much an aero Q of the vehicle. We've also got the wraparound appearance of the windshield, also the graphic of the DLO, or what we call in the design language DLO, which is the window graphic, and how it sweeps up into the C-pillar. Very much reminiscent of old Saabs, even back to the 900 that I own, which is a 1989 model. So we've got very much a Saab DNA Q there. So the side view profile, we've got this teardrop falling off roofline, and what that does for us as a design is it compresses that rear window and it's wrap around. So what we've got is a really wide profile for that rear window, and that's very individual for a sports utility. It really makes the car look planted on the ground, wide and sporty. Very much a driver-inspired, agile car to drive. Also, what helps that is that we've got another Saab Q. You're going to see this on future Saabs. Is a wide band, continuous light element, which is lit during the daytime and at night time. So it's a continuous element that's also inspired by our ice block material. So you've got this translucent green effect inside the element. The rear end of the car, very clean, very much Scandinavian inspired in terms of the form language. The rear trunk opens, and what we're showing in the exhibit today is a purposely designed ski rack. Now, in order to get those skis out of the car, we've got a sliding floor, which I can show you right now. The sliding floor slides out automatically with an integrated ski rack. So we've got 3 pairs of skis integrated in a pop-up carrier. So this is normally hidden inside the floor within the wall thickness, and we just pop it up and we can slot skis into there.
What inspired this design feature?
The designers in the team developing the 94X concept were inspired through a collaboration with Salomon. Saab and Salomon have been working together for some years, and we were inspired by extreme skiers. And what we've come up with is a ski rack to suit their needs. What they like to do is when they're skiing or they hear of great snow, they like to just jump in the car and go really quickly. So they don't really want to be bothered putting the skis on the top of the car in a carrier or a roof box. So what this does, you can just pop this carrier up, put the skis in there, slide the floor forward, and off you go. Total security, with the benefit of actually having the aerodynamic car and less drag with the roof system.
Could you show us how the skis go in and out and how that interoperability works?
So the unique feature about this sliding floor is that it is electrically operated. So it slides forward, and it is always at the same height that you see here. So when you open the hatch, you don't have additional height or drop down, always the same height. We've developed with our small group of designers at Saab, together with Salomon and some of the professional skiers, in this case Kai, is a ski rack that's dedicated to what his needs are as an extreme skier. But this is also something that could benefit a lot of us. The sliding floor helps us access the skis. And once open, a 4 meter, this is a tremendous platform for luggage in general. But in this case, we've got the skis that we can just clip out and remove quite easily, as you can see here. So they pop back in. Not so easy. Putting those in. There we are. Okay, so you can put the skis back in relatively easily and click them into position. Under normal conditions, if we haven't got a ski rack in the car, we can use this for normal loading of groceries. Or if you're going on vacation and you've got luggage which is quite heavy, you can just put it on top of here and slide it forward. Okay, what you see here is the interior of the 94X concept. And what we've tried to do here for the concept is to adopt the design form language that we've developed over at Saab for some time now. We're combining sort of soft shapes and tight shapes, but very organized, very logical placement of all the functions. So we've got very much a driver cockpit oriented. We've got the air vents quite large. We haven't tried to sort of make those smaller for a concept vehicle. We've actually made them quite large, going over the top of the instrument cluster. We've also got this clear zone material inspired by the ice block appearance that we've got on the exterior car with headlamps and taillights. Very much a Scandinavian cue. And it's something where we've really tried to develop a feeling of luxury on the interior without using traditional woods, carbon fibre or body coloured elements. We've tried to really use something unique here, and we think we're onto something that's unique, and we want to make sure that that's something part of future Saabs that you see in the future, or with the ice block, the clear zone. Very much fitting in terms of the Saab philosophy that we have less is more. Very much a cue which is going to appeal to educated people, the kind of Saab customers we currently have and will continue to have in the future. The clear zone, what it does, it gives us a depth of material where you can actually see a shadow on a lot of these switches in the center. It also integrates the navigation screen, which means there's no gaps around this part. It's all one piece. Very easy to clean and very attractive. Yes. So here you can see a combination of the typical air vents we've got at Saab, very individualistic but very functional, and we've spread those horizontally across the top of the instrument panel. Underneath we've got the clear zone, very much a cue for future Saabs. Very clean, very simplistic. It integrates the navigation screen one piece. As you can see, we've got no grooves or anything here. This is all one piece.
Can you tell us about some of these systems? Will they be kind of continued into a production model potentially?
What we're showing here are systems that are in principle very much what we could do in production on future Saabs. It shows a lot of the logic with the radio and the heater controls combined in the central element here. It shows elements such as the starter button that we've shown here underneath a safety latch that flips up and then you can start the car. We've also got an electric park brake here and the night panel switch.
Could you tell us why we chose to change the emblem on the steering wheel from the traditional Saab Griffin emblem to the Saab naming title only in lettering? Was there a significant design change for that, and is that something we can expect moving on in the future?
What you can see with the design of the steering wheel is that we've moved graphically, and importantly for the brand is to move to the letters which say Saab with the letters. We've still got the traditional Griffin logo which we're using on the hood of the car and also very proudly using it there and on the wheel centers. But what we wanted to do on the interior was to really use the nameplate, and that's what we want to do also on the rear of the car to become recognized most of all by the Saab letters. An important part of Saab is to develop the form language that makes it timeless.
Welcome to the Geneva Auto Show. Behind me we have the new Saab 94X Biopower concept. The car had its world premiere back in Detroit in January. So let's talk to Erik Geers and see what he has to say about the success. Okay, Erik, tell me about the reactions about this car behind us.
Well, we have shown this car a couple of weeks ago in Detroit, and we had high expectations of what the media would think about this car, but that a lot of media would say this was a Saab, the best Saab ever. Yeah, we didn't dream about that one. We can only wish for it. So around the world, I would say the reactions have been absolutely excellent.
It seems like Saab is on the move.
Saab is certainly on the move. I would say first of all because I think the media around the world see now that something is happening with Saab that they have never seen before. They see new models coming, they see a new attitude, they see a new design language that they very much like. So from that perspective we're on the move.
Why do you think this car is going to be a success?
As an example is that this car features the latest of all-wheel drive systems, what we call cross-wheel drive. And I just come from Marseille where we had about 700 journalists running through a program where they have tested the 9.3 with the same system, cross-wheel drive. And they thought it's absolutely the best system available at this point. So no other premium competitor would offer anything like this. So from that aspect, I'm completely confident that this is going to be a great success.
So what happens next with this car?
That's a good question. This is of course a concept car, which means that later on you'll see a production car, but I can tell you also, and a lot of media have been speculating about this one, that is this the car actually that's going to hit the market finally, and I think that the media are not so far from the truth.
Oh, so it's going to be a production car?
No comments.
just want to be finally awake and wandering free.
You can choose to look at Saab in the tiniest detail, from the closest viewpoint, or from a wider perspective. You can test, change, adapt or create. Stay up to date with the latest Saab news. Share your passion. Add your voice to the discussion. Watch interactive material. Join us at the world's most prestigious automotive events. Enjoy the latest movies. If you want to get closer to Saab in a whole new way, it only takes one touch of the screen. Download the new Saab app today. Our future in your hands.
I just want to be finally awake and wandering free.
We're here in Los Angeles for the launch of the all-new 94X crossover.
It's time, of course, to reveal the much anticipated 94X, our entry into the growing premium crossover segment.
Saab is an iconic brand. It was so much worth saving. And that we did the right thing is demonstrated by a brand new 95, the new 94X.
This is Roosevelt Gist with Auto Network. We're here in Northern Virginia with Saab for the launch of the new 94X. And my guest on the show is the man, Victor Mueller, CEO
Hi,
of Saab.
How are you? You look good.
You look great.
Well, I am actually great. I mean, how can I not be great with all these beautiful new 94Xs around me? But of course, it's a true Saab. It's designed in Sweden by the Swedish engineers. and you can, well, you've driven it, right? You can really sense that.
Now, okay, back to my question. What puts the big smile on Victor's face when he gets in a 94X?
Well, what really puts a big smile on my face is that I see a Saab, right? This is a car which has been built with the passion of the Swedish engineers that have been on this project, some of whom are actually here. And it's a Saab. And Saabs are different, right? Saabs are not for everyone. And we don't need to sell cars to everyone. We need to sell the cars to a select group of people that want something else, right? People that are not really necessarily satisfied with driving one of the big three German super brands. And of course, they're fantastic cars. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of people want something else. And I think we are the true alternative to the Audis and the Mercedes and the BMWs of this world for people that are independent thinkers and have a desire to make a very understated position on what they're driving. And I think Saab really does that.
Great.
To understand the Saab 94X SUV, it helps to understand Saab's recent corporate history. General Motors used to own Saab, but after GM's bankruptcy, GM cut down their number of brands and sold off Saab. But before that, GM developed some new models for Saab, including the 94X SUV. As it is, it shares an awful lot with the Cadillac SRX. We were able to take a first look at the Saab, so here's our first impressions. Most versions of the 94X will come with a 265 horsepower 3-liter V6. When we tried that engine in the Cadillac, we found that it really worked hard to move around the heavy SUV. It just wasn't that enjoyable. The version we have here is the 94X Aero. It has a 2.8-liter turbocharged V6. Now, it claims 300 horsepower, but when you drive it, it doesn't quite feel like it. The Saab drives pretty well, but it's not quite as nimble or as agile as some of the better compact upscale SUV competition, like the BMW X3 or the Audi Q5. The interior is pretty nicely finished. There's some traditional Saab design cues here, like the little joystick vent toggles, a night panel mode that blacks out unneeded instruments, and the frustrating console-mounted ignition button. Still, this interior feels an awful lot like a modern General Motors interior. It's not a bad thing at all, but it's not really distinctive either. There are some annoyances here. The shiny band of trim on the Aero model, well, it reflects back into the windshield. And the rear roof pillar, it's really thick, so when you're backing up, you get a blind spot in the corner. Since General Motors sold Saab, the Swedish automaker's been struggling financially. It remains to be seen whether the 94X will stand out in a crowded market segment.
We'll have to wait and see if Saab truly gets back on its feet again. It'll take months for everything to get sorted out. But in the meantime, I was able to enjoy one of the company's latest models, though it is possible I may never get that chance again. Here's my instant impression of what's got to be the rarest mass production vehicle in the world, the Saab 94X. They've only made a couple of hundred of these things, and they're probably not going to make any more. As you know, Saab's in deep trouble right now and doesn't have the cash to start building these things again. You know, I wish I could tell you a whole lot more about this car, but I can't. I didn't even get any paperwork on it. That's how far behind Saab is in doing anything about the vehicles that it's building right now. In fact, look at this. This is the owner's manual. They literally put it on a photocopy machine and gave it to us in the media. And that's why I can't tell you exactly what this car costs, and that's why I'm saying, as good as it is, this is going to be one of the rarest vehicles in the world because they're not going to make many of them. This is Autoline Daily for December 19, 2011, and here's what's happening out there. As we've been predicting here for over a year, Saab is filing for bankruptcy and will likely liquidate its assets. The company simply could not come up with the money it needed, and an attempt to get Chinese investment ran afoul of General Motors, which refused to let Saab turn its technology over to them. Pengda and Youngman Lotus will likely lose everything that they've put into Saab.
that I see a Saab, right? This is a car which has been built with the passion of the Swedish engineers that have been on this project, some of whom are actually here. And it's a Saab. And it's a Saab. And it's a Saab.
It's Saab through and through, I guarantee. It's Saab through and through, I guarantee. It's Saab through and through, I guarantee.